This is Günther Fellinger again from the Austrian Committee for NATO Enlargement, of course also from Kosovo, Ukraine and Bosnia. Today's topic will be very much the 4,200 signatures which I collected already for NATO membership of Austria, and I'm calling here for all Austrians to sign exactly this petition. It's a Volksbegehren at the austrian.gv.at, and here in front of Julius Raab, who was the Chancellor at the moment when we signed the neutrality and the state treaty, who opposed, I repeat, he strictly opposed neutrality until there was no alternative, because it was the only way to get the Soviets out. By the way, the Soviet Union is long gone, 30 years, much better years, and now we are ready actually to end the legacy of the tragic times when the Soviet Union imposed her security structure on Austria, similar like they later did on Ukraine, which was forced into neutrality, by the way, in 91 and 92, and then also basically with 94 with the Budapest Memorandum, and then it was still attacked as a neutral state, and two major parts were stolen from Ukraine, and so much crime and human rights abuses were committed by Russia in Crimea and Donbass. It's unspeakable that some Austrians defend neutrality. It's unbelievable. Kosovo, similar, has been imposed for 44, and now still some countries don't recognize it. Bosnia, the Dayton Agreement. All this must be put in the garbage bin of European security infrastructure, because all countries need to be in NATO now to be secure from Russian, and let's not hope Serbian aggression, but they are threatening it all the time whenever they have not fully, and I have never called for bombs to Belgrade if they are not attacking Kosovo, but I hope they will stay within their borders as it seems today. Raab was against it, the neutrality, but it was necessary. And now when you will see that we are here in front of the Austrian Parliament, that not a single Austrian member of the Parliament is brave enough to commit to NATO. I'm in contact with several of them, and obviously they are secretly for NATO, because everybody should be. It's simply completely normal. If you're not a Russian, on a Russian payroll, there is no objective reasons to be against a NATO membership. And I want now 4,000 more signatures, and I will get them. I'm confident to go to the next stage of the petition process. That means that the Austrian ORF has to officially then announce my petition. That means 8,400 signatures, and I will reach that in the coming months. And even when I'm alone against all Austrian security experts, because there is not a single Austrian security expert, nor a single parliamentarian who is brave enough to commit to NATO, which is quite astonishing actually. And in the meantime, I know all of them. Some say they don't want to know me. Some say, okay, I have to live with that as well. I really care less if they know me or not. It's simply so that I also want a debate in Montenegro, in North Macedonia, in Sweden, in Finland, and I will win it as well in Kosovo, in Bosnia, in Ukraine, in Ireland, in Malta, and I will win it also in Moldova and in Georgia, and of course also in Austria, because it's simply completely normal. And we will make NATO more pro-European, and that's also very important. We will take more responsibility by the EU joining NATO. We will also secure Ukraine, because of course Ukraine must also be in NATO, because otherwise they have no security guarantee to speak of. And if we as the European Union want to secure Ukraine alone, what is that kind of a security guarantee without Canada and America? So Ukraine must be, and if Ukraine is already in NATO, then Austria is simply no reason. And all other countries are discussing this seriously, like Switzerland and like Ireland, and Austria not, because unfortunately our political elite is completely under the grip of the nationalists, which are funded by Russia and totally run by irresponsible people, ducking and dodging all issues, not ready for a discussion culture. But the aim is not only to discuss, but the aim is to get into NATO. This is also for my friends from the open letter where they excluded me. And I, despite their efforts, have collected 4,200 signatures. It is not a mass movement. But I feel that I represent these 4,200 people which gave me their trust and gave NATO their trust, not me personally, but NATO membership, and they committed to end the constitutional infrastructure which was built up by Austria since 1955 under Soviet pressure, which kept us free for the Cold War. It was useful, but let's never forget, all Europe was under the threat of the Soviet Union, and without American NATO, the Soviet Union, who would have stopped them? Certainly not neutral Austria. And I'm an officer of the reserve. I was trained to die in the Danube Valley as a boy from Linz, and I luckily didn't, because the Americans protected me. I've not forgotten. I say thank you very much. But I have also not forgotten history, and just because we were brainwashed in the Austrian school system, I'm free enough to learn about all the reality, and I've done that, and I will continue to do that, and I'm sure that we will find a majority in the Austrian parliament, meaning in the next elections or in this one, to live on the truth and effects of NATO membership. And Mr. Raab will be very proud about me, that I, despite the odds and despite so much resistance, have insisted on exactly that. Necessary to join NATO. And even when I'm alone, I'm not completely alone anymore, because 4,200 people have signed it as well. And now we will go into the second stage, and there will be much more signatures, I'm confident, and we will work exactly on that way. For Austria joining NATO, together with Kosovo, Bosnia, with Ukraine, with Ireland, Malta and Sweden, and maybe Moldova, I think. Did I forget any? There will be also the time then for Georgia and for Serbia after regime change in both of these countries, which I'm actively pursuing. And I will be also successful in that one. Thanks a lot. More to come from Pax Europiana in the coming weeks and days here from Vienna on the way to NATO. Bye.